Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. All right, it is Saturday morning, and today we are hopefully going to plant that last little bit of oats behind Mom and Dad's. All right, we came up behind the house. One, got the nuts off, so that was good. But we came up behind the house because we dropped off the four-wheeler, so when we bring stuff up here, I can just buzz around with the four-wheeler then. But this is the chunk that got the corn. Just kind of seeing, I don't see any corn that's sprouted yet. But what's this guy? Oh, there's one. So just starting to sprout. Yeah, we got a couple in here. This stuff is at a drastically less depth. I think our other stuff was like 2 inches deep. This stuff is like a little over an inch. Alright, so we're all full. That didn't necessarily help changing the oil, so there must be a little something in that remote valve that it doesn't like. So probably an O-ring or something stupid somewhere. Now we're just going to start checking out some of our seed depths. Still, the track eraser I think is a little bit of BS. Oh, there we go. That's about an inch deep. All right, so we're still just not liking the way our track erasers work. We have like 4 different settings as far as depth goes. We want to put a turnbuckle on there, but the style of turnbuckle we need takes a little manipulation. So what I'm going to do now is we are just going to go get the old but tried and true method of a drag chain. So we got a nice big logging chain. Alright, little update. It's been about an hour and a half actually. Blades are sharp. Cut the one strip down the lane. Then got the brush hog hooked up. But it seems to be working pretty decent. I am going to go check on Dad, however, and see how far he got. And then come back and work on this grass some more. So there's a lot to cut. And I got just absolutely covered in dandelion seed. It's like it's winter out. It's all puff. So it looks like we're going to be pretty close on seed. We have a couple 100 pounds more that we can put in here, but we probably have about 400 or 500 pounds left in the seeder. But it would be nice, I think, to have individual drag lines on those rows. And we're going for like super shallow on the depth. So if it looks like those press wheels aren't doing much, it's because they're not. All right, let's get back to cutting grass. area, it did a really decent job. I'm just kind of going through and hitting where there might be more clumps and stuff like that. But I was able to actually get all the way down in here, even though it's been wet. It's always nice to do that. The great thing about this brush hog and this tractor, they are exactly the same width. Where I drive is where I cut. So it turns out really nice. I was able to get really close to the fence line. So Dad called me up. All he's got is probably this, like, what, acre and a half. I did just kind of swoosh the seed side to side, and he's gonna do it down and back, and I'll check it again. This is what's happening with those track erasers. Because our ground is so soft, like, I just stepped here. Here's my footprint. This is probably 1.5 to 2 inches of just fluff. I mean, that's how powdery our field gets. So what's happening is when the tractor's going over, we get spots of this. If the chain hits right, it pushes enough dirt, and then the roller can mash it down and cover it up, you know. So, and that's because the tire is getting so pressed in. Like, here's the marker wheel from the drill. Again, not a huge deal, because by the time it gets rain on and everything settles, this stuff does even out. Like, it'll be still a pretty darn smooth field when it's all said and done. Could we come out and roll it, then come out and plant it and roll it again, you know, and still pull the roller? Yeah, but, you know, then we'd have to go over the field again. So we would like to avoid that. See, if the edge of that chain would be able to get down to the ground better, it would work nicer. That's where I think having like chains for every single row would be kind of nice. And I'll just check the seed box and see what we got to do here. Not bad, not bad. I think we're doing just fine. Let her go. And maybe too, that's where a cultipacker would be a nicer option behind that in our soil, because it maybe would pack better having those ridges. We're gonna wrap up, officially wrap up planting 2025 today. So good feeling on a great day. So Dad's pulling off the field, or he's gonna pull off the field. I just took the chain and kind of tucked it and threw it in the seed box. We can unhook that later. Dad's gonna take that back. He's gonna take a little break, and then I'm gonna head back and keep cutting grass. Just waiting on Dad to pick me up so we can go grab the gravity box with the oats. We still have a couple 100 pounds left in there, and we know that there's a slight chance of rain tonight. It's actually a little blob coming. I don't know if it's gonna hang on or not. But these guys are moved. Gave them just a little bit bigger chunk. I think I shorted them just a little bit on that last one. So I kind of gauge by fence posts. Like, I want an aiming point. Plus I want to anchor close to a fence post. I should have gave them like 2 more fence posts worth. And I think I would have, that angle would have been much nicer. But they have really nice chunk of grass. It's really coming on. Like the bluegrass is like almost waist high. There's actually a couple patches of Timothy. Dad and I were just talking about when the Timothy, we know we usually get good Timothy down at that pit field, and it hasn't started coming in yet, but we got Timothy on this field that is chest high, It's really, really nice. Now, it's probably a little bit old, but they'll eat some of it and they'll trample the rest. Gravity box is back. Dad's gonna put the bucking plate on. We'll throw this up in the barn, and then we'll probably call a wrap to the day, because don't really have much else to do today. Then tomorrow will probably be a combination of either cleaning and putting away planting equipment, and probably getting out the disc spine. All right, good morning. A little later start this morning, but it started raining at about 7 o'clock and didn't stop until, what is it? It's 10:30. It stopped like quarter after 10 or something like that. We're down at the shop because we're gonna work on cleaning out the drill and kind of getting this guy ready to put away. Yeah, getting this guy ready to put away, which will be nice because the corn planter is basically ready to go to be put away, and then possibly this afternoon pulling that disc vine out. So while I'm cleaning this guy out, Dad's gonna work on something that we thought of doing, but it needs a little personal modification. So for the track erasers, granted, this has been a work in progress since we put it on here, but how much it goes in and out, we have, as it goes up and down, we have a bar that connects in here with multiple holes. There's 2 holes for adjustment here, then there's 2 holes this way on the bar. Well, Dad went and got a turnbuckle, and we want to try the turnbuckle, but the turnbuckle has like rings on the end, so he's gonna hack the ends of the bar off and he's gonna weld them onto the turnbuckle. Kind of stinks because the turnbuckle is galvanized, but we'll make it work. We're in a well ventilated area. A little better? Alright, so we used the Arc Captain Cut 50. What is this stuff? It's like 1/2 inch material, right? 5/8. Yep, 5/8 material. Could have used a little bit more air, but actually cut pretty good. We decided to kind of tackle a couple of things that we wanted to get done before we ever put this thing away. It turned out really, really good that we were able to get our oats, that last bit of oats, planted yesterday. I mean, like perfect timing. We got like a 1/2 inch of rain this morning, which was really cool. But it was also neat to play around with the Arc Captain Cut 50, and then Dad did all the welding with the Arc Captain MiG 200. And I still want to get, I haven't gotten a welder cart for it, but I do. But I'd almost like to get one that'll be able to fit the Cut 50 as well. So I do need to find one, because right now they're just kind of sitting on shelves, and it worked really good. I think granted we're welding carbon steel to just plain steel to galvanized, but it is pretty open, and the garage door open and everything. But this is what we wanted to do. Just take those tips off the flat bar and weld them to this turnbuckle. So the idea behind this is trying to find a happier sweet spot. or like, you know, oh, we only want them to just kind of dig in just a little bit, or no, we want to sink those things in even deeper than we've ever put them in before. Which now that tip was in almost like 2 inches just sitting here when we put it all the way down, and you couldn't budge the spring. So it's probably going to go in almost the full depth of that sweep. So we're not going to find out how that does until next year, if we have to plant any oats or anything like that. All right, so corn planters going up in the barn. You know what? Our seal job we did on this left tire is working like a charm. $7,000 has actually turned into the easy one to store. The 5100 Soybean Special. That's threading a needle. He's got about 8 inches on the other side, and he had like 3 inches on this side, so it fits. We just got to watch the jack here. All right, everything is put away. We even put the roller away, so that's tucked in there nicely by the trailer, and we pulled out the New Holland 1411. We didn't do any greasing or anything like that. We were trying to look at why this thing won't pop into transport mode. We did break this spring last year, and this is a newer used spring, but there isn't a whole lot of adjustment left on here. So we're not sure why that would be the issue. I did spend a bunch of time. There was a bunch of garbage right down here wrapped around the shaft, and I got that cleaned out. That was actually kind of nice, and it was good timing because we just had a little rain shower come over, so we were kind of stuck. But we're gonna head down to the farm, and we are going to bed the steers because they need it. These guys have got some fresh bedding. You couldn't spread it out the greatest because, again, it's garbage hay, but these guys have a nice place to lay. All right, and you got the crew. They definitely have enough grass to make it till tomorrow evening when I move them again. I think UH430 was in heat. My dog wants to go in the house. UH430 was in heat. She's the one that was in heat like about a week before we put the bull in. So that's really nice that she's snapped back around decently in a decent amount of time. But yeah, so they have plenty of grass till tomorrow. This 135 heifer in here, we thought she might have been open, and I think she was kind of in heat today, but I think it was pretty warm today, warm and humid, and I don't know if it was just her heat just wasn't great. So I don't know if we'll have to get those tests, or honestly just give her a shot of lute in a week, and comes in heat, she comes in heat. Yeah, these guys are starting to bloom. I always like these. Grandma planted these, and Bethany went through these I think last year and really cleaned them up inside in amongst them, and cleaned up the flower bed a little bit. Kind of got away from us because I'm not much of a flower person. And then we've got our rhubarb here and here, which we get Bethany makes some tasty treats with that stuff. But yeah, she did a nice job cleaning out those beds last year, so those guys are ready to pop. All right, it is the end of the day, and I gotta go to work tomorrow, so I got stuff to do yet tonight. But I hope you guys liked the video. Please hit that thumbs up button, help support the channel. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comments. This weekend was kind of a big weekend. It was kind of like we're turning the page. Yesterday we finished planting. Today it was like we're putting everything away from planting and we're bringing out hay stuff. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and follow along for more, because we do have hay season coming up really quickly. And of course, helping us to get to our goal of 2,000 subs, which we want to do sooner than later. And as always, thanks for coming along.